Please join me in welcoming the team from Sheridan College. Judges, please scroll to their green sheet in your judge handbook. Students, please state your school name so that way we can ensure your audio is working.
Sheridan College.
Sheridan College.
Sheridan College.
Sheridan College.
Sheridan College, you may now begin your presentation.
We all have childhood memories of places which we will always cherish. And mine was one little convenience store which was right across the street from my house, where we would find anything we wanted. However, when the COVID-19 pandemic hit and the supply chains got disrupted, the owner had to unfortunately shut down the business. Now we are just talking about one small business, but there are so many more. Looking at the disruptions that's caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, it is evident that the financial impact has significantly been uneven. And the small businesses have been hit the hardest, and they are faced with so many financial hardships.
As a result, many had to seek external funding sources to survive the impact. But the uncertainty is still high as the government support programs are ending, but the challenges continue to exist. Did you know small businesses had collectively taken $135 billion in debt to survive the pandemic, which led to drastic drops in the profitability, and the sales were less likely to take on the debt?
Imagine you are in a business of selling an amazing product or service, but you are confused on how you will manage the finances for sustaining your business or maintain budget for your business operations, especially during financial hardships. Not everyone in business has a good understanding on how to manage and help provide small businesses with guidance on how to allocate their budget for the business during emergencies and look at potential investments to support their business activities. I think for me personally, if I'm struggling with my business, getting some help from different sources will help me motivate me to achieve my goals even better. Small businesses play an important role in employing Canadians and are a significant driver towards economic recovery, which is why we should extend support towards small businesses to build our economy.
At Enactus Sheridan, we aim to help the small businesses across the country with a workshop that we will be hosting in collaboration with CP Ontario, where we are planning to make our audience financially educated with some of the key concepts like investing, budgeting, and cash flow management. We are going to focus on the basics of budgeting, how to plan for contingencies financially, what investing can do for their business, and how to make money work. So we would be inviting specialists from the finance industry and share their key takeaways and principles on how to start building an emergency fund for times like these. So we will be contacting our target audience, which are the small businesses, through the entrepreneurial hub that we have at Sheridan called The Edge. And the budget that we're looking for this workshop would be an estimate of $350 to $400.
Failure challenges are inevitable, and financial hardships are bound to happen. But with this financial literacy workshop that focuses on agility and adaptability through investment, budgeting, and shared experiences, we hope to prepare small businesses to take on future challenges and face these financial hardships safely and successfully. Thank you.
Your presentation time has expired. It is now time for the question and answer period. Judges, please submit your questions through the chat function at the bottom of your screen. Click on chat, use the drop down to ensure you send your questions directly to me, Cody Delier, moderator. Can you tell me more about how you will help clients manage cash flow? Do you have any specific examples?
In terms of cash flow, we hope to partner with CP Ontario, which is a great organization that specifically looks at budgeting and also helps with investments, tips, and tricks. We hope that through this financial workshop that we're able to provide specific tips that could help with cash flow and maybe potentially even having some experiences shared through this workshop to then provide some tips in return.
Question, can you please tell me how you will reach out to your 350 to 400 target audience?
Right. So gathering the right target audience. For that, we will be asking Edge Sheridan, which is an entrepreneurial hub at Sheridan College. And we will also be, since we are partnering, we are hoping to collaborate with CP Ontario. They will have some key resources and a list of potential small business owners who have struggled through the pandemic. So we will get the list from Ed Sheridan as well as CPA Ontario. And we are also hoping to meet some small business owners, small businesses around the area and the community to also contact with them and host the event and the workshop with them. Yeah.
What would distinguish this workshop from other online resources and events?
I'll
So
take
the
that
thing
question.
that quite differentiates what we have right now for this workshop is that we will be collaborating with key specialists on the people who have experience with how small businesses have suffered. So right now in the market, there's no such thing where they can share their experiences. So our key takeaways from this workshop would be sharing experiences from one another, and of course the key takeaways and the principles that we would be sharing via the industry specialists.
And it's only for small businesses that are hoping to build resilience and that were affected by the pandemic.
Is this a one-off, or is there regular occurrence or cadence of workshops?
I'll take that question. It is a one-off for now, but if it does well, and if we're successful, and if we get our message through, we will be planning on hosting more events like these.
Did you focus on the inclusion factor in your workshop curriculum? If yes, then how?
I can take that one. So I think we have not thought about it as an inclusion part, but I think since you guys have brought this question up, we can surely think about including something about this in our idea and work more towards inclusion of including different businesses, like supporting businesses from different supporting people who come from different culture and try to run their businesses.
Do you have any industries or segments that you are targeting specifically? How tailored is your offering?
Take that question. We really want to focus on small businesses that have been specifically affected by the pandemic in somewhat of a significant way. That way, providing the most support that we possibly can to those that were hit the hardest during this pandemic. But we also want to open this up to any small business that is willing to or wants to gain the support that comes with financial security. As we know, unexpected changes can happen at any time. The pandemic was a very big example of that. And so we hope to first focus on small businesses particularly impacted by the pandemic, and then also broaden it to just small businesses in general that are seeking this kind of information and could benefit from it.
And
I will
while we
also-
don't have a target industry in mind, we do plan on helping businesses that are solely based on brick and mortar sales transition into a hybrid model and have e-commerce as an option for them.
How much will this initiative cost?
I can take that one. So like the events we have, like the event we have thought of a budget of something around 300 to 400 for its cost, because it's mostly going to be done online. So I think we should be good enough to reduce our budget, because it won't cost a lot to host the events. We are also thinking for people who are attending to give some prizes. So we need to include some budgets for that. So yeah, that's what our budget aim is, around $300 to $400.
What is the takeaway for businesses? Have they takeaway resources to help put plans in action? Are there takeaway resources to help put plans in action?
I'll take that question. 100% there will be a takeaway for businesses. We will be giving out brochures with everything we've presented, and we will be giving out
Time
specific
has
advice.
expired. Judges, please join me in congratulating the team from Sheridan College. Judges, we have a couple minutes as we bring the next team. Please ensure you use this time to complete your green sheet, and we'll get started momentarily. Students, you may now leave the meeting.
Thank you.
Judges, please join me in welcoming the team from the University of the Fraser Valley. Judges, please scroll to their green sheet in your judge handbook. Students, please state your school name so we can ensure your audio is working.
University of the Fraser Valley.
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 University of the Fraser Valley, you may now begin your presentation.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having us here today. In a recent study, 40% of small business owners indicated that their financial knowledge is limited, but 81% of them manage the finances for their own business. This gap has only been escalated by the effects of COVID-19, with nearly 40% of small businesses in Canada indicating that their profitability has decreased. In order to be more resilient, it is imperative that small businesses understand financial concepts and utilize the financial resources that are available to them. While information on financial concepts and resources are out there, small business owners simply do not have the time to navigate copious platforms and to capitalize on these benefits.
To address these challenges, we'll be developing the BizFin Literacy Program, a free online interactive hub that will empower small business owners to utilize the resources to improve their financial literacy competencies. Our program will offer two services. First, we'll improve the financial resources by creating a database of existing resources offered by governments, public institutions, banks, and nonprofits. This includes information on available grants and financial aid and business loans.
Second, we will provide engaging and informative videos and online workshops on financial literacy concepts. We'll cover topics such as how to manage and forecast your cash flow and how financial ratios help you understand your business. Keeping equity at the forefront, we'll ensure our database and financial literacy content is relevant for historically underrepresented groups by highlighting the resources geared specifically towards these individuals and creating workshops to address the challenges they may face. We'll utilize the expertise of our partners, such as the Fraser River Indigenous Society, to ensure our content is inclusive and pertinent.
We'll begin to develop the platform in May 2022 and will take approximately 3 months to launch. To start, we'll invest in aggressive marketing. We'll use channels often accessed by our target beneficiaries, such as magazines for small business owners. We'll also reach out to small businesses through our robust partnerships, through the network that we have already developed through our existing partnerships. Our current partners include RBC and the Chilliwack Learning Society and beyond. To develop and maintain our website in a cost-efficient manner, we'll leverage our partnership with the computer science department at our university. Looking forward, our project will be expanded in scope to include topics outside of financial literacy, including marketing advice and expanding geographically in partnerships with other Enactus teams across Canada. Ultimately, the BizFin Financial Literacy Program will provide small businesses with the KSAs to promote prosperity and growth. Thank you.
Your presentation time has expired. It is now time for the question and answer period. Judges, please submit your questions through the chat function at the bottom of your screen. Click on chat and use the drop down to ensure you send your questions directly to me, Cody Dwyer, moderator. Question: how do you plan to ensure the content is kept up to date and relevant?
In terms of keeping the content up to date and relevant, this will largely be done through our partnerships and as well as our own personal initiative on making sure that every 3 to 6 months we will be checking this information. So partners won't only help us develop this in the first place, but we'll be checking in with them every 3 to 6 months in order to make sure that it is up to date. Thank you.
Is your budget realistic for an aggressive marketing approach?
Yes, so we developed this budget considering how much it would cost to market online and through the specific channels relevant for small businesses. We'll also utilize our partnership with the marketing department at the University of the Fraser Valley to create a marketing scheme and advertisements in a cost-effective manner.
Who will help you create the video resources and online workshop material?
So in terms of creating things such as the videos, we've already personally done that with some of our other projects. So essentially what we generally do, we'll start with gathering the information, going over the validity of it, and then videos can either be done a recording similar to this, or we could also make PowerPoints and then voiceovers on top of those. So there's a couple different ways that we've done it in the past, and it'll kind of depend on how everything just comes together in the future.
Question: who will you leverage for their expertise on the actual financial educational material to ensure accuracy and efficiency?
That's a wonderful question. So in another one of our financial literacy projects that we have currently established, we had all of our content verified by a local CPA. We do have intentions to connect with faculty from the UFE School of Business to ensure the credibility of the content that we're sharing.
Question: how will you measure success of your program?
So to manage and analyze the impact of the program, we're going to use web analytics, like the number of unique views and average time spent on the website, as well as the number of small business owners we educate on financial literacy, and use surveys for feedback information.
Question: who will assist in creating marketing assets such as online ads or print ads?
So we currently have a partnership with the marketing department, wherein as part of their courses, they assist on our projects. So this is an ongoing relationship that occurs every semester, and they will be assisting us with developing our marketing content. They have the expertise and they've taken the courses in order to do so successfully. There are also a lot of marketing students on our team as well.
Question: will this program be customizable according to individual small and medium-sized business needs, or will this be a one-size-fits-all model?
No, we definitely plan to expand it to the point where it can be customizable. In the future, we look forward to hopefully even doing one-on-one workshops, permitting that they do provide enough time that we can gather the resources and make sure that they are valid for them. So while on the website, you will have baseline stuff for all the information. We'll also go a little bit more in depth to hopefully hit everybody's needs. And then again, we will be able to do one-on-one or receive questions, which we can later either help them or point them in the right direction with our resources.
How will you determine which resources to include and which resources to exclude?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Obviously, we want to make sure that the resources we are using are valid. And I think that comes down to using credible sources such as either government websites or taking the advice from the professionals that we are partnered with. In terms of taking stuff out, I think we do want to look for overlaps and having information come in, the same information coming in from just more than one of the multiple sources. So essentially, it'll just come down to using credible sources in the first place.
I'd also like to just add on that to provide accurate and relevant information for underrepresented groups, which we want to put a focus on, that we want to have conversations with people with lived experiences and asking them directly, what would have helped you?
Judges, if you have further questions, please use the drop down to send them to me. Thank you. Your time has now expired. Judges, please join me in congratulating the team from the University of the Fraser Valley. Judges, we have a couple of minutes as we bring the next team in. Please use this time to complete your green sheet. We'll get started momentarily. Students, you may now leave the meeting.
Thank you, everybody.
Judges, please join me in welcoming the team from St. Mary's University. Judges, please scroll to their green sheet in your judge handbook. Students, please state your school name so we can ensure your audio is working.
St. Mary's University.
St. Mary's University.
St. Mary's University.
St. Mary's University, you may now begin your presentation.
Only 40% of small business owners are confident in themselves to operate their finances independently. 66% of business owners wish they knew more about their finances, and 28% of small businesses are in debt. Over the pandemic, small businesses have collectively taken on $135 billion in debt to keep their businesses operating. With our partners who have an aptitude for delivering consultancy to small businesses, providing training workshops and sessions on financial literacy, we come to you with Finance for You.
We're creating a platform focused on providing small business owners with the resources and tools needed to be able to operate their finances independently. Our program will provide interesting, easy to read, and inviting resources that are tailored to specific situations any small business owner may encounter. These resources include templates, step-by-step guides, and general information sheets to aid them in successfully running their businesses. We've designed a quarterly subscription model where the resources will be sent directly to their inbox.
By sending easy-to-read information about handling financials directly to their inbox, we can ensure that small business owners are receiving the support they need while ensuring that the private nature of their finances is safeguarded. Through topics such as preparing a budget, filing taxes, projecting revenues, preparing for slow seasons, and taking out a loan, individuals will feel prepared and confident in running their businesses. We will quantifiably measure success by the number of people to whom we can provide resources and how many of those business owners report positive development in their organizations because of their financial education.
Our goal is to reach small business owners across Canada who need accessible financial education. And here's how we'll do it. We will leverage our existing partners' extensive networks, such as the St. Mary's University Entrepreneurship Centre and our connections to entrepreneurs in Nova Scotia. We will use these connections to find industry experts who will be able to aid us in creating templates, guides, and other resources for our target audience. Throughout the development of this project, we will continue to find and create connections with professionals through the recommendation of our current network. We've broken down the cost to start this project with an initial investment of $1,500 based on our countless experiences working with tech and financial literacy. With your help, we will launch the first edition of Finance for You in January of 2023.
Your presentation time has expired. It is now time for the question and answer period. Judges, please submit your questions through the chat function at the bottom of your screen. Click on chat and use the drop down to ensure you send your questions directly to me, Cody Zelire, moderator. Question, where do you source content for your material?
Great question. So we will work with industry experts. For example, we have MBA students that we work with already on an existing project for financial literacy. And then we'll also work with some of our partners. We work with countless financial institutions already, and those of who are super engaged with us and able to help us with this project.
Question, what governance approach have you in place to ensure the material is accurate?
Another wonderful question. Working with financial institutions that we know are credible and have professionals who are experienced and educated or have the required training to be able to create such content is very important for us.
In addition to that, since 2001, we have been delivering training workshops and sessions on financial literacy for our projects such as the Options U. So we already have partners in those industry with companies like Kunia Financials and Cashflow, where we have partnered with instructors who are trained in financial literacy.
Question, what are your goals for enrollments in the first year?
Wonderful question. So we've set goals. We want to target at least 60 entrepreneurs by the end of 2023.
The educational material being tailored to specific business solutions and scenarios. Have you given any thought to also segmenting this material to certain industries or service sectors?
Absolutely. So we're going to be constantly gathering feedback and data from our participants to understand fully what their goals are and what they want from our program. So we will be able to categorize them and tailor our material based on their goals and be able to do that at a large scale as well.
Can you provide a breakdown of the $1,500 budget?
Absolutely. So we have about $600 going towards instructors and industry experts because we want to be able to support them when they're making the content for us, or say if they host a workshop for us. We have $250 for a marketing expense, so we can get that off of the ground. And then the first $650 is going to go into the technology, so the platform development and that initial maintenance fee. But I do want to add on as well, once we have this initial investment, that will get us off of the ground, and we do have funds in reserve that we're able to invest in this project to continue the technology and the platform development.
Question, with the rollout commencing in 2023, how will you keep momentum going from today?
Yeah, so we already have a plan in place, which is the beauty of these pitches. And then from there, we're going to start working with partners immediately to see who's interested. And we're going to connect with our network of entrepreneurs to find that demand. From there, we'll make tweaks in our plan to make sure that we're actually making a product that has demand in our community.
Question, did you focus on the inclusion in your workshop, on the inclusion aspect in your workshop curriculum? If yes, then how?
Yeah, so of course, we recognize that all entrepreneurs are so unique and different in the industries that they're in, their goals as entrepreneurs, and their plan and how big and what they want to do. So when we're thinking of inclusion, we want to make sure that we're representing everyone, and by doing that, we want to get feedback from the community. We want feedback from real entrepreneurs. We never want to put ourselves into a community and say, this is what you need, this is what you want, and here's how we're going to solve all of your problems. We're going to take that data that we collect from them to fully understand what they need and to be able to include everyone and accommodate everyone.
Is there a cost to business owners to access the app or resources?
So we'll be focusing on a quarterly subscription model. And so what that means, we'll be charging, when broken down monthly, it's about $7 a month. So we'll be charging $21 quarterly, and that will include the content, the online platform and its modules, and then it'll also include the one-on-one sessions that we'll be able to provide and the live workshops.
Question, are there any underrepresented communities that you hope to reach with your project?
Yes, always. We're always looking to work with every community. I think when we were creating this project, we definitely had Indigenous communities in mind. That's kind of where this started. We were thinking about Indigenous entrepreneurship from another challenge. And we thought, okay, how can we support everyone, but with financial literacy? So communities like that, but honestly, we're looking for everyone, and we want to make sure this platform is as inclusive as possible.
Question, how do you know what templates, content to send to each business, or do we all get the same emails?
No, so
we will be,
go ahead.
Yes, so we will be doing a needs assessment with the
Presentation
small
time
business.
has expired. It is now, sorry, your time has expired. Judges, please join me in congratulating the team from St. Mary's University. Students, you may now leave the meeting. Judges, we now have a scheduled break. Please ensure you're back at your screens no later than 1:50 p.m. Eastern time, so that's 6 minutes from now, and we will begin the final three presentations at that point. Judges, please join me in welcoming the team from McMaster University. Judges, please scroll to their green sheet in your judge handbook. Students, please state your school name so we can ensure your audio is working.
McMaster University.
McMaster University, you may now begin your presentation.
Good afternoon, judges. My name is Justin, and I'm here today to tell you a little bit more about my project, Finance Forward. Now, everyone knows that in order to successfully run a business, you need to be able to manage the money. Regardless of what the business is, looking after the money is key. I was very shocked to learn that 82% of the time that a small business fails, poor cash flow management is a main contributing factor. So facing this problem, what options do small businesses have? They can hire an accountant, but this is very costly and might be tough to justify for a business that's already having cash flow management issues. They can try and teach themselves accounting, but it's incredibly daunting to venture out alone into a field which you know nothing about. This is where Finance Forward comes in. Finance Forward team plans to team up with the small business enterprise centers in municipalities across Ontario, bringing university accounting students in to teach business owners basic accounting principles. This approach is unique because it leverages resources and relationships that already exist in the community. Small business centers have years of experience providing support to local businesses and have a level of trust and appreciation that a new project could only dream of. Once we successfully market ourselves to these municipalities, we can team up with them to provide a service that's essentially a win for everyone involved. The key to this plan lies in the students we will be bringing in to teach these businesses. Here at McMaster, we have a fantastic commerce program that leads lots of students into being passionate about accounting. By having students volunteer with us, they get valuable opportunities to hone in their skills and put a great experience on their resume. The exact plan for implementation is still in the works, as it depends strongly on the number of volunteers and municipalities that we can get involved. But What we do know now is that we hope to do one or more group sessions having students teach business owners basic accounting. Nothing crazy, just the accounts and procedures that they need to know to keep track of where their money is going. The goal is to have them understand things like receivables, payables, income, and expenses so that they can monitor their money going in and out, see where they're losing money, and see where they're making it. By working with small business centers, university students, and business owners, we hope to provide a benefit for all parties. The goal is not to cause any drastic change in any business or community, but to prevent change, reducing the number of local businesses that close and turn over every year. Thank you all for listening to my pitch, and I'll now happily take any questions the judges have.
Your presentation time has expired. It is now time for the question and answer period. Judges, please submit your questions through the chat function at the bottom of your screen. Click on chat and use the drop down to ensure you send your questions directly to me, Cody Dwyer, moderator. Question, is it only going to focus on accounting or business and other financial aspects as well?
As of right now, the plan is to mostly focus on accounting. We may look to expand if we see success on accounting. Just at the current moment, to try and provide overall business education. That's a service that generally is already offered by the small business centers. They provide consulting on things like local regulations, marketing, networking, things like that are usually already included in small business centers. We're trying to fill a bit of a niche that we feel isn't quite covered with the offering accounting services, as usually accounting consulting or accounting, teaching businesses accounting is not something that's offered by these small business centers.
Question, what risk mitigation is in place for Finance Forward? For example, what if the information a student provides is incorrect?
Yeah, so that's a great question. And that is something that we will definitely be keeping an eye on moving forward with the development of the program. Given that we are going to be coming in and doing subsidized or free consultations, we'll need to ensure that we have our liability covered. But the hope is to develop a curriculum and have that curriculum run past, our faculty advisor, who's an accounting professor, and he'll be able to ensure that all of the information that we're providing is correct. And that way we can avoid any students potentially mixing anything up. We're going to have like a set curriculum that we can bring and transfer to all of these municipalities.
Next question, how will you reach out to your target audience?
So to begin, the first target audience being the municipalities will be a very direct marketing effort. It will likely be myself reaching out to city employees directly over email, asking them if they have a little bit of time to spare to meet with me. I worked just this past summer for a municipality in the economic development department, so I'm very familiar with the processes and the bureaucracies and who to get in touch with, who to talk to, and how to present this as something that can be attractive to these municipalities. So the plan definitely is mostly direct to the municipalities rather than a traditional like social media marketing or anything like that. That's why in the budget we actually don't have a very high marketing budget because it will be direct to the municipalities. And then the target audience of the businesses, we plan to reach those through a little bit of our social media marketing that is included in our budget. We definitely have allocated for that. That is something we plan on doing, but mostly leveraging the relationships that the small business centers already have. From my experience, these small business centers are incredibly valuable to local businesses, and they turn to them frequently, and they have close relationships and mailing lists, contact lists that we would be able to use to get in touch.
Next question, what is the budget for your program and how will the budget dollars be spent?
Yeah, so that's a great question. The total of our budget is looking around $1,200. The largest expense in that is transportation costs. I've calculated out the costs of driving 2 cars of people roughly an hour away, considering, it might be a little more than an hour or less than an hour, depending on where we're going. We're looking at around $1,000 in reimbursements for students taking their cars. And then $150 would be used to purchase a Canva premium membership so we could develop all of our promotional content. And then up to an extra $50 or so more if needed for our social media marketing, given a rate we estimate generally around $5 to $7 per 1,000 online Instagram impressions. So that gives us thousands of impressions that we could potentially make.
Next question, how did you take an inclusive approach to developing this initiative?
Yeah, so the inclusivity was definitely something that I wanted to make sure was in this project. And by teaming up with the local governments and the small business centers, I feel that that's something that has really been taken on here, because it's not something that needs to be paid for. It's not something that needs to be, excessively tracked down. We're hoping to work with the government so that it's easy to find us. These small business centers already have created a very inclusive environment for business owners, as anybody who usually it is anybody who has a business license within the city can come to them for consulting and advice.
Your time has expired. Judges, please join me in congratulating the team from McMaster University. Judges, we have a couple minutes as we bring in the next team. Please use this time to complete your green sheet and we'll get started momentarily. Students, you may now leave the meeting.
I'd like to thank all the judges for their time and have a great rest of your day.
Judges, please join me in welcoming the team from the University of Calgary. Judges, please scroll to their green sheet in your judge handbook. Students, please state your school name so we can ensure your audio is working.
University of Calgary.
University of Calgary, you may now begin your presentation.
In the early 2000s, a trend began, spearheaded by millennials, to ditch the traditional 9 to 5 and start taking over the workforce through their own empowerment and ideas. This movement has now led to the rise of small businesses all over the country. As of 2019, 98% of businesses in Canada are considered small businesses and employ 2/3 of the Canadian private labor force. With these numbers, you must think, wow, business owners must really know what they're doing. Or wow, Canada must be supporting their business owners at all costs, right? However, according to Intuit, 83% of Canadian small business owners have a basic or lower understanding of financial literacy concepts. This lack of knowledge can have a catastrophic impact in the long term. At the end of the day, every decision they make comes back to one thing: money. If they do not understand the concepts of money and have little to no financial literacy, how are they expected to make good financial decisions? How can we expect these businesses to survive? To get the answers to their complex questions, business owners are expected to go surf the internet, pay for expensive courses or consulting services, thus wasting their valuable time and money and leading to endless frustrations. This is where the SBO Financial Initiative comes in. We will be creating an easy-to-use platform that assesses business owners' business model, stage, goals, progress, and other qualifying information through an introductory questionnaire. The information gathered will be analyzed with the goal of determining the next financial decision the business owners need to make. After the data is analyzed, the software will give them reliable and relevant information on their upcoming decisions with the necessary background information they need to understand it. It will explain what they need to know, why they need to know it, and how they need to go about taking their next steps. Small business owners will learn this tailored and curated information through instructional videos, tutorials, articles, and interactive workshops. They'll get the information they need effectively and efficiently without having to sift through lengthy and boring financial articles, potentially unreliable information, and irrelevant material, as well as having to avoid pay upfront for consulting services. Not only will this save them time and money, it will also increase the likelihood of small businesses reaching its next growth milestone. The success of this project will be measured by how many pre-launch business owners launch within the year, how quickly they can reach their next goal, how many new users use the systems per month, and how long businesses using this program last after using it. Additionally, surveys will be given to rate how confident and empowered business owners feel while and after using the program. We plan on reaching our small business owners by networking companies like BNI, affiliate marketing, and social media networks like Facebook and Instagram. Small business owners are a backbone of the Canadian economy. We should act like it. At Enactus Calgary, we're passionate about bringing these skills and resources to the table and supporting small business owners navigate this already complicated journey, one video at a time.
Your presentation time has expired. It is now time for the question and answer period. Judges, please submit your questions through the chat function at the bottom of your screen. Click on chat and use the drop down to ensure you send your questions directly to me, Cody July, or moderator. Question, who will decide the what, why, how, and what the content follow-up will be?
So we will be partnering up with industry professionals like CPAs, financial brokers, and other people relevant in the industry who will help us give this business owners the relevant information and what content that needs to be shown in a very digestible and easy to understand format.
Question, what is your budget?
We plan to start with about $5,000. $2,500 is going to go into app development and content creation. The other $2,500 is going to go towards partnering up with different companies and or online marketing.
Question, how does this program stand out given existing programs available in the market?
This program stands out because there's nothing that really gives that curated information. Everything that's out there has its own little bias or is missing information that the business owners need to know right away. There's nothing that tells business owners is this is what you need to do next. They need to go sift through that information themselves. This is a way of getting business owners to act as they need to instead of having to sift through the information and getting out of the noise themselves. Existing programs right now are consulting services. There's lots of government incentives right now. But again, everything's in a generalized way. That's a one size fits all. The business owners then have to pick and choose from. This gives them that roadmap directly in their situation and where they're at today.
Question, how is the business survey questionnaire data being analyzed?
It's going to be put through an algorithm eventually. At the beginning, we will have someone that is specifically specializing in analyzing this data. And part of the questionnaire is going to be a matter of saying, where do you want to be in the next couple months? And what is the decision that's stressing you out today? That is going to help our moderators figure out exactly what content to deliver. Later on, once we're a little bit more into the program, the algorithm will be advanced enough to give that information itself.
Question, are you targeting specific small business owners? How will you ensure your material is relevant across different industries?
It's not a matter of targeting specific small business owners. It is going to be someone who is post-launch for the most part. That being said, there's no industry specific because this program is about curating that information regardless of the industry you're in. And sorry, can you ask again the second part of the question?
Question, how will you ensure your material is relevant across different industries?
The material will remain relevant because at the end of the day, most businesses deal with the same frustrations in terms of their financials, bookkeeping, taxes, employees, payroll, et cetera, and so the information will remain relevant. Again, through our partnerships with our professionals, we will stay on top of it as changes happen, and we will keep those lines of communications open.
Next question, what is your intended geographical reach?
This program is going to start in Alberta, and eventually, once it starts to get more solidified, we are wanting to go all over Canada.
Next question, can you tell me more about the introductory quiz? How will this be crafted? How will clients sign up?
To provide a reference point, there's companies out there for hair specifically. That is the best reference that I can give, where people will go in and then will go and put down their information, and then they'll get a very specific product that's tailor-made for them. This follows that same idea.
Is this being offered for no cost?
No, there will be, it's a freemium model where at the beginning of it, entrepreneurs will be able to go in and get access to the resources. As it becomes more and more curated, more specialized, there will be an optional subscription cost that will give them more resources and potentially connections one-on-one to those professionals in the industry.
Next question, how many users do you expect, and can your network of CPAs, et cetera, support this?
Sorry, ask that again.
Yeah, no problem. How many users do you expect? And can your network of CPAs, et cetera, support this?
Yeah, so the network that we're connected to will expand over time. Our goal for the first year is between 15 to 20 business owners as a test for this program and duplicating it over the years to come.
Next question, who's building your algorithm?
We are still working on that. We are partnering up with the University of Calgary's computer science community to develop our relationship and to see who the most appropriate person to develop it would be.
Has expired. Just join me in congratulating the team from the University of Calgary. Judges, we have a couple minutes before we bring in the next team. Please use this time to complete your green sheet and we'll get started momentarily. Students, you may now leave the meeting. Judges, please join me in welcoming the team from St. Clair College. Judges, please scroll to their green sheet in your judge handbook. Students, please state your school name so we can ensure your audio is working.
St. Clair College.
St. Clair College, you may now begin your presentation.
Diversity is at the heart of any thriving business community. According to latest census data, 13.6% of Canada's small and medium enterprises are owned by those who identify as non-Caucasian or First Nations, Métis, or Inuit descent. And in our Windsor-Essex region, this number is as high as 25%. However, these businesses also face disproportionate systemic barriers in accessing financial resources and education. Nearly 1 in 2% of these same businesses have reported a decrease in sales of 30% or more within the last 2 years and anticipate a continued reduction in demand, sales, and profitability for years ahead. As government support programs decrease, these challenges will require creative strategies in not only attracting and retaining customers, but maintaining sufficient cash flow and managing their debt. Enter Interlink, a community impact project that makes accessibility to financial literacy and mentorship more equitable to the BIPOC-owned businesses. First, we look to connect with these businesses by communicating with local organizations, such as our Windsor-Essex Small Business Center, Can-Am Indian Friendship Center, and neighborhood business improvement associations. Next, through our existing partnerships with our several financial institutions, our mentors are trained directly by industry professionals to ensure we're sharing the most up-to-date information with the most effective of learning strategies. Our participating businesses are then partnered with a multidisciplinary group of student mentors, ranging from finance to web design. These students work directly with business owners to develop not only an understanding of their existing enterprise, but the story of its development and its goals. We also bring mentorship directly to these small business owners, whether virtually in person, and arrange the scheduling and communications around our participants' preferences, as so many miss out on the opportunity for learning and support while solely maintaining the day-to-day of their businesses. This relationship is facilitated over a 12-month period, followed by a dedicated 6-month application and training period. Our process reflects a long-standing commitment to the success of our applicants. And these students are not only given the opportunity to apply their education directly to supporting development in their community, but also to harness that valuable experience of working collaboratively with others of varying insights and skill sets towards a shared goal. Our initial budget is $1,000 to implement this project, which is to be directly invested in digital resources, such as our website interface, data analytics, and marketing materials. We will share Interlink's impact on BIPOC-owned businesses by providing both direct financial literacy mentorship as well as innovative insights and best practices based on their specific industries and businesses. We will measure success through metrics such as existing entrepreneurs helped, people and small business owners educated on financial literacy, as well as increased business revenue and profit. Equity is a fundamental foundation of Canada's future economy. And we at Enactus St. Clair know that collaboration and diversity is where opportunity connects. Thank you.
Your presentation time has expired. It is now time for the question and answer period. Judges, please submit your questions through the chat function at the bottom of your screen. Click on chat and use the drop down to ensure you send your questions directly to me, Cody Wire, moderator. How many businesses can you facilitate in the first 12 months?
Within the first 12 months, great question. So especially based on the interest and availability as well of mentors, we want to make sure we're not spreading ourselves thin. Again, we really want to have that focus on quality interaction. But I believe based on our previous projects with our farmers market opportunities, we've directly interacted with 12 over our last season. So I'd see that reflection at least to 20 businesses based on that experience thus far.
Next question, can you share more about the budget and how it's broken down?
Absolutely. So part of us brainstorming for this project was really looking at different interfaces and websites and what that budget, especially in the age of digital accessibility, pandemic has taught us that we need a budget on website design. So especially to at least 1/5 of that $1,000 budget is going to be dedicated towards those digital resources. And again, based on the amount of data tracking, we found that's really important, whether it's investment in a specific program or software set, and being able to see if we can offer that as an extension to the business owners in particular. So 1/5 of that is more so for our team resources, and the remaining portion is going to be for the businesses.
Next question, will this program be customizable according to the individual small and medium business needs, or will it be a one-size-fits-all?
Absolutely. And I think that's a big reason why we want to make sure we're taking our time with that 6-month training period, making sure that we're having a direct understanding of the business's needs, as well as ensuring that our students are prepared and have that partnership and being able to facilitate research even prior to that initial meeting of the two businesses. And I think that one-on-one approach is so crucial, because especially even just ranging in industries, as far as understanding, supply and demand and manufacturing is going to impact one business more so than another. So really being able to offer that custom insight is very important to us in implementing this project.
Next question, on average, how much time do you anticipate the mentors will be spending with each participant?
Referencing our previous projects, and again, we're very familiar with this mentorship space, we're having an estimate of approximately 6 hours, and whether, again, that's one student popping in and having like an individual session, or if that's facilitated through group sessions, we think it would be approximately 6 hours per week. And then again, being flexible depending on that particular relationship, how much time would be allocated for both parties, both the business owners and the students.
Judges, if you have any additional questions, please submit them via the drop-down to me. Next question, how does this program stand out given existing programs available in the market?
I think, and I especially wanted to hone in on those creative strategies, the next generation being able to have different insights, not only being what they're seeing in the classroom, as well as just being the next face of future entrepreneurs themselves. I think is too, particularly with our focus on BIPOC businesses, the accessibility to having education themselves, unfortunately, is less prominent. So even just what education we have in the industry professionals that are our faculty, we're being able to bring that sort of community and insight directly to the businesses that we're supporting.
Next question, how will you measure success of the program?
Sorry, Cody, broke up per program.
Next question, how will you measure success of your program?
Absolutely. So based on the individual existing entrepreneurs per business, as well as the total number as far as what the administration or the management of that business would look like, those would count as well, part of our metrics of those educated on financial literacy. In addition as well, us looking to, as far as part-time and full-time jobs created, giving them a better understanding of how to allocate those resources in their businesses as well. That would also be a priority for us in the execution and success of this project. And more and multiple industries, even as an independent factor, I think that multidisciplinary approach and insight for industry is very crucial to this. Again, that's the embodiment of diversity, really, that we want to highlight.
Your time has expired. Judges, please join me in congratulating the team from St. Clair College, our final team of the day. Students, you may now leave the meeting.